We are 1040 AM KGGR and 106.9 FM. I am Denise, the Lady of Diligence, and my husband David and I are parents of a child with Down syndrome. And because this is National Down Syndrome Awareness Month, I especially wanted to share and learn more about the experiences, challenges, and triumphs in this community, not just from our own perspective, but from leaders who are working every day to support families. It is my privilege today to welcome Crystal Lauderberry from the Black Down Syndrome Association, an organization working to create culturally competent resources and safe spaces for Black families impacted by Down syndrome. Crystal, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
And happy
Hey,
Down Syndrome Awareness Month.
that's right. That's right. All right. To start us off, would you share briefly how BDSA got started and what inspired you to get involved?
Well, BDSA started in August of 2022. So we just made 3 years old. And it was co founded by myself and Kelly Kaufman, who is another fantastic, wonderful mom who has a beautiful boy named Cree, son, who also has Down syndrome. Kelly and I met in 2021 um, in a online support group, and we started actually volunteering for our organization, providing support for Black families who had Down syndrome. And in doing the work, we recognized that there was a need for a culturally competent, safe space for Black families that was led by Black families.
Hmm.
While lots of organizations do the work, they don't necessarily always understand the differences, just the different lived experiences that those of us who are Black or Brown have with our children with Down syndrome. So Kelly and I had lots of conversations, and we said, you know what? We can do this. And so we did. And here we are.
Wow. And I'm glad. I'm glad y'all did it and y'all are doing it. All right.
Yes.
So I have a question, like a real question. What gaps or needs did y'all see in existing Down syndrome just overall in this space? What gaps or needs did y'all see, and how are you filling these empty spaces?
I think the biggest gap we saw was just representation.
Yes.
I had my son in 2019, and I tell people when I tell my birth story, once the geneticist called and told me that we had a 90% chance of having a child with Down syndrome, one of the first things I did was Google Black child with Down syndrome. And this was in 2019, and literally 3 pictures of Black persons with Down syndrome came up. And to be completely honest, I don't think all 3 of them had Down syndrome, maybe 2. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. Because we know just there's not necessarily a look that people with Down syndrome have, right? There are common features, but people with Down syndrome tend to look more like their family members than, than not. And so, but that struck me because I'm like, well, I know 2 Black people with Down syndrome right now who live in my community. So I was like, well, I know we're out here. Where are we? And why are we not being represented? And when I looked even at the 2 local Down syndrome organizations in my community, I didn't see anybody who looked like me. When I looked at the national organizations, I saw the same pictures. It would be one family and their pictures were on every website. And I'm like, come on. Like
Right.
we're out here somewhere. And so that was a huge drive for us, especially because we knew in our online support group, we had over 1,000 families all over
Wow.
the country. So we're like, y'all are here, but
Right.
y'all are not being represented in the larger community. And we know, or I know from just personal experience, that if you don't see anybody who looks like you, who has a similar lived experience, it makes it hard to even want to go right? I don't want to show up to these places if I'm the only person who looks like me, because
Right.
I feel othered. And even though it's like, well, we have the same shared experience to having a child with Down syndrome, what I've learned is that we may have that in common, but
Hmm.
again, we have different lived experiences. There are conversations and things I have to have with my son that his best friend will never have to have with
Right.
his parents, because I'm raising a Black boy who happens to have Down syndrome. Right.
Wow.
And so that's why we felt it was so important to have this space. Um, and we are an inclusive space. I want to remember we do have families that
Mhm.
are not just Black parents with Black children. We have biracial families. So it's really like, as long as people are identifying as Black, like, we want to provide support to those families as well. But even if they're not, we want to provide them with resources and support with other organizations that can meet their needs as well.
Oh, that's great. And Crystal, I'm so thankful for you and Kelly because when David and I, when we received the information that we were 99%, and we had a 99% chance of having a child with Down syndrome, I did the same thing. I went to Google and I didn't see probably the same three you saw, but I didn't see many at all. And I was like, where are all the brown babies at? Right.
Right.
So that was my first thing. I went to Google. My second thing is I went to social media. I went to Instagram. And that's where I actually found your page. And I instantly started following you. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. There are children with Black Down syndrome children here in my community as well. Because I was
Yes.
like, wait a minute, not only did I find your page, I was like, you're local. You're here in my community. So instantly, you got a follow from me that day. And I was excited to see, okay, here are all the brown babies, right?
Yes.
There's a whole community of us, and I wasn't aware because if someone just goes to Google, you really don't see us being represented in that light.
No, no, not at all. But I'm happy to say that since we have started BDSA, I think if you look at Google today, you're going to see lots more pictures.
That's right.
You're going to see hundreds of pictures. And again, that representation matters, because we know oftentimes there are Black families who don't necessarily always meet another Black family in their local area who has Down syndrome. So to know that you can go to social media and online and say, hey, oh,
Right.
there are thousands of us. And you
Yes.
live down the street, or you're down so it's like it helps to just build that community, which is just so important to have. Like, community truly is everything.
That's right. I agree. I agree. All right. So, what does culturally competent mean? Can you explain that? And when it comes to resources?
With us providing the culturally competent resources, I think it's just based on our, I don't want to say based on, but just our lived experiences.
All
So in
right.
the ways that we interact, the ways that we even refer families, we often have conversations with other Down syndrome organizations who are like, well, we try to reach out to our Black and brown families, and we just don't get a response. And we're saying, okay, but how are you reaching out to them? Are you
Yes.
just sending an email? Or are you making a phone call? Are you developing a rapport and a relationship,
Mm,
building trust?
there
So
we
that
go.
now, like, I trust you, I know you. Okay, I can't, maybe it'll be okay for my family to come out to these things. Because if we're being honest, lots of times our families, and not just our families, Black families, people struggle with the diagnosis. It's hard.
Oh, it
It's a
is.
hard thing to hear, because you have these dreams and hopes and aspirations for your child, and then to be told that they have Down syndrome, and there's nothing wrong with having Down syndrome. But
Right.
society doesn't always believe that, right? There are people who don't believe that. So having to come to, coping and dealing with that. And then even sometimes our own family. I know I have family members who are like, well, we'll just pray. We'll pray it away. It'll be
Mm,
fine. Baby, we can't pray this chromosome.
Yes.
Like the
Yes.
chromosome is here, and
That's
it's
right.
okay.
That's
And
right.
it's okay, you know? Um, and so just making sure again that we are addressing our families, talking with our families in a way that they can understand and hear and know that
Mm.
we're supporting them and that we're listening and we're truly trying to meet them where they're at.
Oh, that's
And
great.
even when we refer them to other resources, we're vetting those people. We have lots of organizations, lots of researchers who are very interested in talking to our families because we are underrepresented in research and things like that. But
Very
we
true.
make sure we vet. We're like, we're just not giving you access to our families because we know historically how medical research has done Black and
That's
Brown
right.
people. So if I don't trust my baby to go, I'm certainly
Right.
not going to tell my nieces and nephews they can go. We are vetting so that people, all, our families that we support and serve know, okay, we're a trusted source. You can come to us and know that we truly have your best interests at heart.
Mm. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, so this is the thing that I'm most excited about. All right, so what programs or services or initiatives do y'all have or anything that's coming up in the near future? Mm.
Okay, so BDSA, we have four major programs that we operate. Let me say this, we are a small organization. Like I said, we started just 3 years ago, and for 2.5 of those years it was just Kelly and I, so just two working moms with families, jobs, all the things. But we were so fortunate to bring on two additional board members, so there's four mamas working hard. We have a puberty health kit program, and that program provides hygiene kits to young adolescents who are entering puberty. For young ladies, that's period panties, any kind of hygiene sanitary items. Every young person gets a book that is written specifically for those who have Down syndrome to just explain what going through puberty is and kind of what to expect and how to talk, how the parents can help the child understand like what's happening with their bodies and things like that. Um, so we provide that kit to young men and to young women. We have our Community Connections grant program where we provide grants to individuals who have children with Down syndrome to host community events in their local areas.
Wow.
So just recently, we gave a grant to the Down Syndrome Association of Atlanta, their Black family group, and they had a sneaker ball.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we've had events in Chicago where the moms had like a mom's day out and they went and made candles. Here locally in the Metroplex, we had a wine tasting event. So just
Yeah.
whatever, if a parent, a caregiver reaches out to us and says, hey, I want to get some fellow family members together so we can meet and connect, then we're going to help provide the resources so that they can do that in their local communities. So we have that, the puberty health kit. We have a welcome baby kit because we want every
Really?
new baby who is born with Down syndrome to know that they are loved and welcomed. One of the things BDSA we pride ourselves on is we say we are a family. So we refer to all of our new babies as our nieces and nephews. And so we want to welcome our nieces and nephews to the family. And we provide, it's like a little onesie and some toys and just stuff like that. And we provide that to families. And then we have our caregiver health and wellness grant program, which is our most recent initiative, which we found to be really important because we know how hard it is to be caregivers because we're caregivers too.
Right.
And how oftentimes we neglect our own care because we're so busy caring for our loved ones with Down syndrome or other family members or whatever's going on. So we provide that grant program to provide caregivers or parents an opportunity for self-care. So whether that's paying for therapy appointments or going to yoga. Now we ain't gonna pay for all your therapy, but we gonna give you a grant. We're gonna hook you up with some resources.
Yes.
Hook you up with EPA or something. But yeah, but just to give families an opportunity. And along with that caregiver health and wellness grants, we actually also have caregiver or respite retreats. So we hosted our first respite retreat last year in Canton, Texas. We took 15 moms to a bed and breakfast, and we had a
Wow.
weekend where they slept as long as they wanted to sleep. They ate what they wanted to eat, and what was so wonderful is we had maybe 7 of those moms had literally never left their children. That was the first time they'd ever left
Mm.
their children.
Wow.
Um, overnight. And just to see, like, of course they were worried about their kids, but just the peace. Like,
Yes.
I don't have to worry. I can really take care of myself. So um, that is a program that we are, trying to get more resources for so that we can continue to support that and carry that out in the future. But that's also part of the caregiver health and wellness. And then our last big thing that we have coming up is we are actually hosting our inaugural family reunion conference, which is going to be in Grand
Yes.
Prairie, November 7th through the 9th. We are very, very excited because it's our first one ever. And, it's going to be
Wow.
the bomb. And so
It
we are
is.
welcoming about 145 families from 26 different states are going to be here, and we're going
That's
to have a good old
amazing.
country time.
That's
Yes.
amazing. And we are excited and we are so looking forward just to be able to connect with other
Yes.
parents, right? That look like
Yes.
us. So, wow, Crystal, y'all are doing some amazing things.
We're trying to. We try. No,
Yes,
we doing. We're not trying. We are. We
yeah,
are.
that's right. That's right. You are. You are. Okay, so during National Down Syndrome Awareness Month, what messages do you hope the general public hears?
I think the biggest message is that we are more alike than different, and we hear that oftentimes, right? All of our children have worth.
Mhm.
That a diagnosis does not define who and
Yeah,
what a person is. It's just that, right? It's
yeah.
just a diagnosis. And that kindness goes a long way.
Mm, I love it. And it's so true because if you look at kids just interacting with each other, that's exactly what they do. They just interact with each other. They're
Yes.
playing with each other, they're having fun. It doesn't matter what their diagnosis is. They're just having fun because they're kids. And you're
Yes.
right, kindness matters. It really does. All right,
Yes.
girl. So, to find out more information about your organization, where can the folks go to connect with you, with Kelly, to find out what y'all have going on? How can we follow you? Tell us all the goods.
Okay, so you can go to our website, which is www.blackdownsyndrome.org. We're also on, I was gonna say on Amazon, baby. We are on, I think we were on Amazon Small though. We're on Instagram at Black Down Syndrome. We are on Facebook at Black Down Syndrome Association, and we are on LinkedIn on Black Down Syndrome Association. So not hard to find us. We out here living
That's
life.
right. That's right. And real quick, um, I just want to share how we actually connected, right? So we were at an event. We were actually at one of our first events for Down syndrome. I can't remember the event specifically, but I just
The
saw it on,
picnic.
yeah, it was the picnic.
Yes.
It was the picnic. And I saw it on social media and I said, hey, I think this would be a great chance to connect with other people, right? So my family and I, we went and just looking around at everyone in attendance, I didn't see too many of us around,
No.
right? But Gracie and I, we were at the playground and I heard someone come up and say, Gracie. And I was like, who knows us here? Who knows my baby? And it was you, Crystal. And you were like, I know Gracie from online because both our kids are being represented by the same agency, talent agency. So I was actually surprised and amazed and shocked and happy and excited that to see, first of all, you and your husband there and your son Griffin. Um, he's amazing. He really is. And Gracie and him, they just took and they
Yes.
smiling and they hugged each other. And I was like, oh, they gonna be friends for life. They gonna be friends for
Look,
life.
why my baby, after we saw y'all, was like, I want to go to Gracie's house and play. I said, okay, we're gonna plan another play day.
Yes, Yes.
He's like, that's my friend.
That's right. That's right. And we instantly connected and hit it off. And I was like, finally, I have someone that understands, just understands everything, right? And I'm just thankful for you and your husband, for y'all just showing up, being you, doing what you're doing. Once again, I just want to let you know you're doing amazing things.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I'm grateful that y'all are getting the word out there and connecting us all together, because this is what it really is. Just connecting, sharing stories, and knowing that we're not alone, right?
Yes. Yes. Like I said, there's just so much to be said when you know I'm not the only person doing this.
Yeah.
There are people who've come before me, and I also like to talk about the women and men who have older children with Down syndrome who came before us, because
Mm,
there's a multitude of them whose shoulders we stand on. BDSA would not be who it is without those advocate parents who didn't have the resources we have today, didn't have an organization
right.
that knew that they had babies that they loved and they cared about, and that they were determined to um, come together and have some kind of community. And
Mm,
they have done that. And so, like I said, we stand on the shoulders of those folks, and we love them so much.
mm. And once again, I am so grateful for you, your organization, and everything that y'all are doing. And
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
am I will continue to pray blessings on
Thank you.
you,
Thank you.
your organization. And, my dream is that it continues to grow and flourish.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Crystal. Thank you for joining us this evening. Once again, I just pray blessings on you, your organization, and I'm looking forward to the family reunion coming up.
Yes, it's going to be a time. Yes, indeed.
It is. It is. Well, Crystal, once again, thank you so much for everything. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.